Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this short webinar on Just Ask Mia, which is a chatbot that you will learn all about today and how you can use this tool to connect families to supports. My name is Claire Luge, and I'm the Executive Director of Prevent Child Abuse Arizona. We are a statewide nonprofit that is focused on strengthening families and protecting children. And the way in which we believe child abuse can be prevented is by connecting families to what they need when they need it. And so one of the ways that we can do this is through innovative tools and ideas like this chatbot. So I'm going to go ahead and pass along to my colleagues, Dave Brown, Stephen Flan, to talk about this chatbot. And I apologize for my 2-year-old crying right now.
No apologies needed whatsoever, Claire. Thank you again. And good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Just to start off everything, Just Ask Me a chatbot. Yes, for those of you that remember this from last year, this is that same chatbot, the family support chatbot. So I just wanted to get that out there first and foremost. The transformation from family support chatbot to Mia happened just recently over the last couple of months. But just to make sure everybody knows that there's no duplication going on here, that it is that same chatbot from last summer when we did a soft launch. Mia is now live across the state. And so we're excited to tell you a little bit more about Mia and ways that you can use her. So this will be a quick half hour. Again, questions in the chat if you have some. And maybe at the end, if we have time, we'll get to Elmo, and Stephen can do his impression, which I would love to see. I have not seen that one. So just representing here, my name is Dave Brown, the CEO of Valley Leadership. Stephen Flan, who you'll hear from in a second, is our VL impact maker on the child well-being side, the chatbot team lead, and help bring this thing to life. We're representative of many other leaders over the last 3 years or so who helped build this chatbot. And I want to acknowledge and recognize them, particularly Together for Arizona, Family Involvement Center, 211 Solari, others who helped build this thing, as some of you saw last summer, and now is called Mia. So we're excited to tell you a little bit more. For those of you that are new to Mia, it is super exciting. She is super exciting. We can talk a little bit about why she's now called Mia, but we're going to do just a quick few slides so you can understand how it works, how you can use it, how we hope you can use it through your websites and everything else that you have with interaction with families across the state to get us to what Claire was talking about before. We need to have a way that families can find what they need, so there isn't that interaction with DCS. So what we'll cover today, why we built Mia, and how the bot can support Arizona families, how to use Mia and get started incorporating it into your platforms, whether that's website or other places. What you'll do, we hope, is there's an implementation guide for instructions on how to get Mia on your website. You can direct clients, community partners, potential users to Mia, and then give us experience or give us feedback so that we can make the Mia experience as best as possible. One of the things that has guided this process over those 3 years from all the leaders that were involved was that if the chatbot cannot provide that service, we've missed the mark. We want families to get what they need so that they truly don't have that interaction, and they just overall thrive. And how do we do that in a friendly, anonymous, warming, welcoming way? And that's who you see there in the top corner. So we did a lot of research and talked with a lot of different people, and that when families are stressed, in particular in times of crisis, the sooner, the easier, the better they can find resources to meet their needs, reduces those stresses. And so we initially took a list of dozens of things families may need over the course of being a family. And we started with food, clothing, phone, and we just recently added heat assistance. Those were the top things that came up when we thought, this is what makes a family stressed. As anyone knows, when you're hungry, you're stressed. When you know your kids are hungry, you're even more stressed. So how do we get families to find those things as quickly as possible? We did lived experience discussions and sessions, and we did practitioners. So for those of you that are on the Zoom as lived experience, those that you work with families, we asked everybody, what are those things that you need most over the course of being a family, and how can we get those things to you sooner and quicker? So the Mia is not meant to be a overall solution for everything. We have 211, a great partner, as Mia can't find a family what they need. Hand off over to 211 so that 211 can assist with multiple levels. We were hoping that could we skim 20%, 10-20% of needs quickly and efficiently, that frees up time across the practitioner system, and also just gets that family something quick so that the stress level can come down. So why a chatbot? Again, lived experience said, can I be on the bus on the way to work and text Mia and say, hey, how do I find the food box on the way home from work? And not have to jump on a phone. I might not be able to jump on a phone. I'm at work and I can go to a website and click on Mia at the bottom there, and find an easy way to do stuff. Right now, as many of you know, especially those of you that are practitioners, there's multiple lists, there's multiple websites, there's things all over the place. We put all those into the AI system. So again, how can we use technology to make things easier so that it's fast and easy to use? Anonymity was a huge thing we heard from lived experience. The trust level with DCS, the trust level with government is low. And so how do we allow families to say, hey, totally destigmatized? And that's, we hope, what is the warm face here of Mia, that you can go to somewhere and get what you need and it's done. Nothing more than that. We don't know who you are. You don't know anything more about Mia other than her smiling face, and you get what you need to help your family and you're less stressed. So let's do that for families. And so you can do that again via the corner in a website or text-based. You can text Mia and she will get you those 4 options to start. So Stephen's going to walk through that in a second of how it actually works. But that was the basis of this. Is let's take a kind of noisy Google search to generalize and figure out how families can find something quickly. As most of you know, families, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, they need something that can just be quick and destigmatized to get their family what they need. It's all over the state. So you can see here, Mia is connected to the 211 database, and anywhere that 211 can provide food, clothing, phone, and or heat assistance. In heat assistance, we mean cooling centers, respite centers, and hydration stations. Mia will pop that into the chat, so you'll see that here in a second. So organizations already that have signed up, seen here, Together for Arizona, again, the partner who helped build this thing. Tempe Union High School District, my high school district, on my son's high school page for parents and families, Mia pops up at the bottom. So again, when families are saying, hey, I need to find a food box this weekend, if they were to go to the website, they can see Mia pop up and they can type in and they're on their way. We're talking to a lot of school districts now. There will be more school districts added here in the next month. All of you that are willing to put it on your website, we encourage that. The marketing part of this, which I'll talk about at the end here, but just mention now, is not a Mia to consumer directly. It's a Mia to all of you as organizations and practitioners who work and interface with families. We want you to be that connection. Again, you're the trusted source in the community. And this is another, hopefully, tool in your toolbox to say to people, hey, maybe next time you don't need to call me. If it's this, just text Mia. So right now we're really pushing out and trying to get as many groups across the state, organizations across that state, that have that interaction with families that might need something to get it on the website. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Stephen, who's going to talk a little bit more about how Mia actually works.
Thanks, Dave. And good morning, everybody. Really happy to be here. Thank you for being here. This is really near and dear to my heart, to all of our hearts. So appreciate you taking the time. Let me get the slides up in a second. All right, there we go. So Mia is a chatbot, but how does it work? It's really conversational based. We're going to ask a series of questions to the person interacting with the chatbot to get them the best resources for them as quickly as possible. As Dave mentioned, we have 4 areas of focus: access to food, heat relief, which is actually brand new. We just got that out a few days ago, access to clothing, and access to cell phones. So let's get into the details of it. What does this look like? Somebody looking to get in touch with Mia has really two ways to do it. As Dave mentioned, we have a phone number that they can text, or, and the hope after this is that you'll be in love with it and want to put it on their website. They can go to your website on their computer, on their mobile phone, and interact with Mia that way. So again, it's a conversation. You can see a little bit of the snippet on the right-hand side here. We'll show a live demo in a moment, so you can see a little bit more of that. But essentially, a person begins interacting with Mia. They are first prompted with what language they'd like to speak in. The bot does both English and Spanish. We're hopefully expanding that over time. But the Mia will ask questions to try to narrow down what someone is in need of. They ask a series of questions to get more and more detailed to make sure that we give them exactly what they need. And I think one of the best things about Mia is that she'll ask for their location. Either they can just provide a zip code or they can give a specific address. And then she'll return resources that are as close to that address or that zip code as possible. So somebody can be as get something that's close to them as possible. As I said, once they put in their phone or once they put in their zip code or their address, they'll see a series of locations that are close to them. Looks like a little Google Maps thing here again in the picture. And if there are multiple resources available close to them, they can scroll through that. We'll show you an example in just a minute. But basically, we're trying to get somebody those resources as quickly as possible and make sure it is convenient for them. As we already kind of hinted, there is a phone number. So if somebody texts family or familia, again, the chat is in English or Spanish, to the phone number on the screen, that's 877-558-2261. They'll get essentially the same functionality that's available if they were to interact with the chatbot on a website. If you don't have that phone number written down, that is quite all right. We've got it recorded and we'll send a few things out after this is done so y'all can have everything there. So let's go ahead and take a look at a live demo. I'm going to switch screens real quick. All right, there we go. This is Mia. So this is our website, just at askmia.org. And the big thing that we want you to see here in the bottom right-hand screen, her beautiful smiling, winking face is the chatbot. It's a little bubble that by default it is in the bottom right-hand corner, and it'll pop up and say, hey, I'm Mia the chatbot. What can I do for you? I've already looked at it this morning, so I don't have that message popping up, but it'll be there. Once somebody clicks on the button, the window becomes a little bit bigger and you've started your conversation. You pick your language. And then to make sure that we are guiding the conversation appropriately, Mia is going to prompt to see what type of resources that person would like to access. Again, food, phone, clothing, heat relief are the 4 resources that we are keying in on right now. We also have this other assistance. Should somebody need something that is outside of one of those 4, they can still ask us about it. And if Mia can't provide it, we will direct that person to use 211. 211 being the database resource that we are hooked into, and they're a wonderful partner. So we want to make sure that somebody doesn't just end up in a black hole, that they have at least something that they can go to. And side note, some of the data that we gather as part of this is what sorts of resources are asked for under that other assistance. If it's access to rental assistance or assistance with transportation, whatever it may be, we're gathering that data to help us inform, as Mia grows a little bit older, what the next sorts of resources are. So it's a bit limited with the 4 right now, but we're always growing, we're always looking for more. So anyway, I want to show off the new one. Let's pick heat relief. And then you can see we have a few more questions to make sure under that broad umbrella of heat relief, we get the exact thing. So we have cooling centers, we have hydration, or if somebody selected the wrong thing, they can go back. Let's say I'm looking for a hydration station. And then Mia is going to prompt us, what's your zip code? Let's give a little love to Southern Arizona. and see what we get here. So you enter the zip code. Mia is looking for resources in that area, and we'll pull them back. Let me scroll up just a little bit. And this is kind of that map that we talked about. You can see here is, based on the zip code, the closest set of resources that are hydration stations. The little arrows means that there are more than one. So somebody can click through this to see all of the resources that are available. I'm glad to see that there are a whole bunch of them. If they want more information, you can click the more details button, and it will pull back as much information on a particular resource as we have. So full address, hours of operation, sometimes the phone number. And thank you, Mia. She's asking lots of questions this morning. And we have buttons in here that if somebody wants to call them directly from the chat, you click a button, it'll take you to your phone. If you're doing this on your phone, it'll prompt you to go to your phone. You can click the visit website if they've given a website link, and it will take you out to that website. I'm going to scroll back up and I want to show you something else that is really interesting about the heat relief, specifically in the hydration stations. A bunch of partners are working with 211 to provide transportation to cooling centers and hydration stations. So one of the things that we've built in the chatbot here is a prompt to say that if somebody needs assistance getting to a cooling center or a heat relief station, that they should, or a hydration station, excuse me, they should dial 211, select option 4. Then you saw there are a handful of extra questions that we are prompting here. We want feedback. We'd love to know more about how the interaction is. That helps us build, refine, define the bot over time. And also, let me scroll down just a little bit more here. We have a specific question that comes up, and that asks if the resources are close enough to the person. And if somebody says, no, what you've given me really isn't close enough, what Mia will do is ask for a specific address. The way that we've built this, again, to Dave's point of anonymity, is trying to say, okay, hey, we don't need to know exactly where you are right now. Give us your zip code. And then if the results that are returned aren't close enough, maybe they're on the edge of a zip code and you're on the other edge, give us an exact address. And we will give you resources that are queued based on that specific location. Again, we love feedback, so we'll ask how we did today. That's another piece of information that we track to make sure that we're doing good. I think there's a bunch of questions here, but I think Paige is answering them. So I'm going to switch screens again, go back to the presentation. We'll get through this, and then we'll have a time for a few more questions at the end. So if you loved that and you think that's great, how can you help? You can help us by getting this on your website and spreading the word about Mia. What does the process look like to get it on your website? It's pretty easy. We've got a hosting request form that we'll drop in the chat here in a second. You fill out the hosting request form. We'll get in touch with you. We'll work with you. We'll give you an implementation guide that shows you how you can actually add the code to your website. You can add it to your entire website. You can add it to specific pages on your website. Or if you're wondering like, hey, what does this look like on somebody else's website? We have examples we can show to you. If you want to go to justaskmia.org, it's there, or some of our partners have it on their website as well, so we can give you those examples. So then let's say you've gone through that and the website and the chatbot is on your website. Great. We'd love for you to promote it. We have a marketing guide that gives you information on how you can promote this through your social channels, how you can talk about it on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, or send out email blasts, just because we want to help as many people as possible. And so if we can leverage your network as well as ours to get the word out, we would love that. And then the third piece is support Arizona families. So direct communities that you serve to Mia, and then you can give us feedback based on what they tell you and based on what you see of the chatbot. The great thing about technology is that we can always adjust it. We can always make a change. So if we find something that is less than perfect and we want to make it better, we can do that. Or using heat relief again, if we find an area that is an unmet need that we want to add, we can add that pretty darn quick. I think the heat relief came together in less than a month, which if I do say so myself, is pretty quick in the technical. So we took a look at it a little bit ago in the demo, but this is showing you what that little bubble in the right-hand side on the left portion of the screen here, in the lower right-hand side of that computer monitor, you can see that's the pop-up, and that's what it would look like on somebody's website. And again, when they click that, it pops up and you see the Just Ask Me a chat that we talked about earlier. We didn't do this demo on a phone, so here's a picture of what it looks like on a phone. That beautiful little winking circle, somebody clicks on it, it comes up, kind of does a full page view of it, and they can continue to interact with that. And here's the example of what it looks like should they text Mia. So they started it with family, they made sure that we're prompting them for the language, and then we go into the workflow or the chatbot flow as you would on the website. Dave, you taking this one here?
Yes, thank you, Stephen. And thank you, Paige. Great job, Stephen. But Paige, I see you just furiously answering a bunch of great questions. So these are all great questions. I'm glad to see that we have answers for almost all of them. So keep them coming. Mia can, with any tech, Mia can be upgraded and tweaked so that we can make sure that we're serving, she's serving your clients as best as possible. So keep looking through that. Just overall too, again, this is free. This is it requires an agreement, just legally licensing, so that we can make sure legally everybody's protected. Other than that, it does require a little bit of techie-ness to get the snippet code on your website. I saw some of the questions in there about browsers and stuff that I don't know that we can do much about that. Maybe something for your own IT department. But yes, any website this can go on. We do look at them. So again, if there's bad actors out there, and I know none of you are, that would use this and then direct people to something else, we do have a vetting process, and that's part of that licensing agreement too, so that make sure it goes on websites that we know will have that families will have access to make it as easy as possible to access Mia. So to do what needs to do next, go and fill out a hosting request Google form, and we can put that in the chat here in a second. There's that partner hosting agreement. There's an implementation guide that just walks you through how to get that snippet on there. And then the marketing guide. We also have stickers. Someone actually pinged us before this because we've been doing some family resource center tours with Claire. We have some front sticking stickers, and just stickers that you can hand out, that you can put on your window, and then stickers you can hand out to your families. We can figure out how we get you those based on where you are in the state. But yes, use the marketing guide. Again, this is a Mia to organization built marketing guide. We want you to have whatever you need to tell people that this is something you can do. We have a one-pager that you can go to your leadership and say, hey, this is something we want to do. Are you good with it? So all of that's available on the website as part of that Mia marketing guide. If there's something in addition to that, please let us know. And we can figure out how we can get you what you need in order to get it on your website. Paige or Stephen, if you wouldn't mind, because technology is not my thing, if we could put in the Mia email address, and then possibly my email address. We can have people who have questions or other things that they need to learn about. You can ping me or Mia, and we'll get back to you as ASAP, and we'll hopefully get everybody's questions answered. So wow on the number of questions. Thank you. Any other questions? I believe because we're in webinar mode, we're not going to hear you. It'll just be through the chat.
There was a question, I know Paige answered it, but it's one that we get often, and I wanted to answer specifically. What happens if you know that there's a resource in your area that you're not seeing through Mia? That's something that you let us know. You reach out to us, and we'll work with 211 to make sure that that resource gets added to their database so that Mia uses it and everybody else at 211 can access it.
Yes, and I see there in Yavapai, yes, let us know too. So we have a great partnership with 211. If there are organizations that you know provide food, clothing, phone, or heat, and it's not included in the database, send us those our way, because we want to make sure we can get them into 211. 211's been great about, hey, we've heard that these two food markets are not in there, but can be places where people can access a free food box. Let us know about those things, and we will work with 211 to get them in, and then they'll start popping up. We did recognize through the building out of this with practitioners and with lived experience that rural will be challenging, and we're still working on that. So if you anything that, especially in rural Arizona, where you know someone can provide a service but it's not there, let us know, and we'll work to get that into the database so that we can make sure we get it into those areas.
There's been a couple extra questions about adding other resources. I think I saw diapers or car seats. Potentially, we love that feedback. If y'all are seeing an unmet need, again, let us know. We are monitoring the chatbot to see if people are asking about certain things. It's something that we will continue to build out over time.
And then one other item that I just wanted to address, we just shared justaskmia.org as an example of how the chatbot can live on a website. So we do not require that people go there to use the chatbot. The goal is that you will be able to add the chatbot to your own website so that your own community can access it. So it shouldn't be an issue of having to access a Google website. You should be able to host it, that is also why we have the SMS solution, so that people can text directly, so they don't even need to go onto a website at all in order to access the chatbot.
Yes, great point. And again, however we can be helpful in getting it on your website, and then the marketing to your families thereafter. Again, that's on the website it's on justaskmia.org as part of our resources. But if there's something else you need, let us know. We're happy to help you get this in front of your families. But yes, that was part of that lived experience trust building. You all work with families directly. Justaskmia.org, great, they can find it there, but we really want them to be driven to what you do and the interaction they have with you, because you're the trusted source in their community.
Cool. And I
Claire?
see we're at the half hour. Yeah. So Claire, take it
Yes,
away.
so thank you so much, Dave, Stephen, and Paige, for giving us this incredible information on this new chatbot. And thank you, of course, for your work in developing it in partnership with Together for Arizona. This concludes our time. If you have additional questions, there is the contact information in the chat. That is contact@justaskmia.org or dave@valleyleadership.org. And of course, go to justaskmia.org to get more information about Just Ask Mia, so you can share it with others, perhaps your administration, if you want them to know about this and to buy in, so you can add it to your site. So I'm going to stop the recording right now. Again, if you have any questions, contact the contact information that I just shared. And we can stay on for a few more minutes if people have additional questions that we can answer. If not, have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for the great work that you do on behalf of families and children in Arizona. And yes, we will be sending out this recording to everyone who has registered and who has attended this webinar, so you can review the information as you wish.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Claire.